I lost and regained about 50 pounds every single year for damn near a decade after losing 100 pounds. I thought this was just my life. I thought I was broken, that my body was different, until I discovered something that changed everything. And it wasn't more willpower, it was changing one lever that silenced the food noise. And that shift is the backbone of how I coach thousands of patients for the low-dose GLP-1 optimization strategy, including myself. I'm Dr. Jones, DC. This passion of mine comes from living through this decade of weight loss hell, the yo-yo cycles, the food obsession, the constant mental battle. I did it the hard way so you don't have to. And now I work with my medical practitioners, helping people achieve in 9 months what took me freaking 15 years to figure out. This is gonna be my complete story. The 100-pound loss that didn't stick, the decade of yo-yo torture, discovering fasting, what everybody said at that time was a fad, experimenting with therapeutic fasting, which finally fixed what was broken, and then the low-dosing GLP-1 breakthrough that gave me the final freedom that I've been chasing for over 15 years. And more importantly, how we use this exact roadmap to help patients skip the struggles and get straight to the solution. Let me take you back to when this all started. I was 16 years old. I'd been dealing with freaking weight problems, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, elevated A1C, a test that shows your average blood sugar over 3 months. My doctors had already given me the concerned look. My parents tried so freaking hard, that talk about where I was headed, but honestly, I'd been ignoring all of it. And I remember the day I stepped in the gym scale and I watched the numbers climb freaking past 300 pounds. And that's the breaking point. Everything before that moment, the labs, the doctor visits, the warning signs, none of it hit me like seeing that number. For some reason, 290 didn't matter, but 300 and my heart dropped. So I went home, I was sad. I was pretty bummed out, but then I kind of turned that into some motivation and solution, like what do I gotta do? So I scraped together every dollar that I could. I had a couple $100. I was 16 years old at the time, so I can hire a personal trainer, not just any trainer, but the one who'd lost the most weight himself. I figured if he could do it, he could show me how. And this is what he had me do. Cardio every single day, resistance training about 4 to 5 times a week, counting every calorie, every macro, eating 6 small meals throughout the day. I followed his plan perfectly, and it worked. I lost 100 pounds at 16 years old. I felt incredible. I thought I figured it out. I thought I'd finally beaten this thing. But here's what I didn't understand at 16 years old. Losing weight and keeping it off are two completely different battles. I'd won the first one, but I had no idea that I was about to lose the second, over and over again. And I know that you guys know this all too well. For the next 10 years, I lived the same nightmare, and it was on repeat every single year. From age 17 to like probably 24, I would gain and re-lose damn near 50 pounds every single year. It became this predictable cycle that I couldn't break. Summer would roll around and I would get excited again. It's pool season, I gotta look good, I gotta feel good. This time it's going to be different. This time I gotta figure it out. I'd hit the gym hard, I'd watch what I ate, I did the whole drill, and the weight would come off. I would feel like a champion. But then summer would end, fall and winter would approach, and I'd watch every single pound come crawling back. And I'd make excuses. I finally just got used to the cycle eventually. I never freaking enjoyed it, but I made the best of it. And the worst part, at that time I was working as a manager for personal trainers at LA Fitness. I remember standing there at the gym, surrounded by equipment and the trainers and all of our clients that were losing weight. I was personally yo-yoing myself, 50 pounds all the time. The irony wasn't lost on me though. But what I told myself is, this is what people struggle with. Not everybody, but some people have this. This is just what it is. I looked around, my clients, even some trainers too, other people in the gym, they had the same pattern. People would lose weight and regain it back. It seemed normal. So I just accepted it. I thought this is just how bodies work. Some people could eat whatever they want and stay lean. I had friends like that. In college, my gosh, don't get me started on that. I know you guys have friends like that. Probably the guy named Bill at your office and Christine, super annoying. And some of us have to fight for every pound. I genuinely believed that my body was just different. What I didn't know then, what I wouldn't understand for another 5 years, was that I wasn't fighting my body. I was fighting with my hormones, insulin being the main player. And if you guys know him, this guy's a douchebag. And the hormone, he was winning every single year. My insulin resistance, it was getting worse, progressively building momentum, getting harder and harder to stop. The traditional eat less and move more approach, it wasn't just failing to stop that momentum, it was actually probably making it accelerate. But the yo-yo cycles weren't even the worst part. The worst part was what was happening in my head. Every single second of every single day, I was thinking about food. What am I gonna eat for lunch? What's for dinner? What am I gonna eat when we get to that place? What kind of food are they serving? We all know this too well. This is food chatter. It's constant, it's exhausting, it's relentless. It seems like I was never full off of a single serving. I needed more. I didn't have a name for it back then, but what I was experiencing, we now call food chatter. It's a nagging, constant mental noise about food that eats up your mental bandwidth. Or I like to call them marbles, attention units. If you've never experienced it, you won't understand it. But if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like a running app in the background of your mind, like the one on your phone that's draining your battery all day long. Except this app is food thoughts, and the battery, that's your ability to focus on anything else. By the way, if my personal story is resonating with you, then do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button, because we're dropping videos every single week where I not only show you how I got there, but more importantly, how we help thousands of patients achieve what I did at a fraction of the time when I was battling food chatter, the yo-yo years, the constant hunger, never being satisfied, always thinking about the next meal. If you need help with that, then my videos can provide you a framework, so hit that subscribe button now because it also helps out the channel. Now, I work with patients on GLP-1s who have the complete opposite problem, right? No appetite at all. I had a patient who was a teacher, Susan. She was eating only about 40 grams of protein a day because the medication killed her hunger completely. Her hair was falling out in clumps. By second period, she was so exhausted, she couldn't focus on grading papers. That's why this journey requires strategy, not just medication. It's not about eliminating hunger. It's about fixing what's actually broken. Now, if food chatter is consuming your life right now and you're trying to figure this out, whether you need medication or what dose, how to manage appetite without undereating like Susan, we do offer these free discovery calls where you can actually speak to our patient advocates. They can assess your specific situation and help you understand how we can actually help you, whether you want to work with me or our medical team or my coaches. You can either text the number on the screen or you can check out the link that I'll leave in the description if you want to explore that. But first, let me tell you about the discovery that changed everything for me. And it started with me being completely wrong about intermittent fasting. Food chatter isn't a character flaw. It's not a lack of willpower. It's a metabolic symptom. Your brain is responding to hormone signals telling you that you're starving when you're full. That's insulin resistance speaking. And I was about to discover something that would quiet the food voice for the first time in my life. At 21 years old, I started hearing about this thing called intermittent fasting, and my first thought was, here we go, another fad. You guys know all the fads. I had tried everything myself. Keto, Atkins, low fat, low carb, meal replacement shakes, you name it, I've done it. So when people started talking about skipping breakfast and only eating during certain hours, I kind of rolled my eyes. Plus, everything I'd been taught as a personal trainer had said that this was wrong. You had to eat protein every 3 hours or you'll waste your muscle away. You need to keep your metabolism fired up with frequent meals. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You guys know that drill, right? All of that was gospel in the fitness world. So for an entire year, I knew intermittent fasting existed. I heard people talking about it, and I completely ignored it. If you guys remember,
we had PhD John Berardi, we had Martin Burkin from Lean Gains.
These were the original OGs that talked about fasting, but eventually curiosity won out. I kept hearing more and more people talking about their results, people I respected, people who knew what they were doing. So I thought, fine, I'd try it for a week, prove that it doesn't work and move on. I started with a simple 16-8 pattern. Don't eat till noon, stop eating at 8. And something started to shift. I started to have a noticeable decrease in my weight yo-yoing just by adding fasting. No other change. It wasn't completely gone, but it was less severe. The 50-pound swings started getting smaller. I did intermittent fasting for about 2 years. And that's when I started getting curious about pushing it further. What if I went longer, right? What if there was something even more powerful here? That's where the real breakthrough happened. Now, if you want me to make a video where I get into the exact fasting protocol that we do with our patients, let me know in the comments if that would be helpful for you and what situation you're currently in that you think that would help with. Now, the intermittent fasting breakthrough was just the beginning, but what I was about to discover with the longer therapeutic fasting would completely transform my metabolic health and set me up for lifelong weight maintenance. So I started pushing the envelope. If 16 hours worked, what about 24 hours? What about even longer than that? This was me at 19, 20, 21 years old, experimenting on myself because nobody was teaching this stuff. I started doing 24-hour fasts once per week and then eventually twice per week. And then I started playing around with one weekly long fast, say 36 and then eventually 48. And that's where I found it, the sweet spot that changed everything. I landed on doing a weekly 48-hour fast once a week for about 3 to 5 months at a time. All I needed at that point was just one solid period. And here's what I didn't know that I was doing at that time. I was significantly improving my insulin resistance. See, insulin is the master storage hormone. And when it's chronically elevated, your body is locked into fat storage mode. You can't access your fat stores for energy use. You're constantly hungry because your brain thinks that you're starving, even though you're overfed. You got all that fat in your body and you can't tap into the fat. That is what we call insulin resistance, and that's what it looks like. Insulin elevated for the majority of the day, barely dropping to baseline, if at all. Those 48-hour fasts, they were driving my insulin down to nothing. In our clinic, we see patients' cells start listening to insulin again after implementing these strategies. That resistance pattern starts improving significantly. And I have the perfect example of why this matters so much. This pattern shows us repeatedly in our clinic, patients maxed out on semaglutide, for example, 2.4 milligrams, and freaking losing absolutely nothing anymore. And when we check their fasting insulin, which is a marker of insulin resistance, it's elevated, severely elevated. Optimal metabolic health means that your fasting insulin and C-peptide is on the lower end of the reference range. When insulin resistance is severe, it usually requires higher and higher medication doses to work, if it works at all. But when we have patients add therapeutic long fasting, their insulin levels drop dramatically, and suddenly the medication starts working. We typically see this for patients and they start losing weight, like 1 to 2 pounds again per week on half of their doses. For me, it took years of trial and error to figure this out, and I didn't have GLP-1 meds at the time. I was doing the fasting rounds in my mid-20s, trying different legs, different frequencies, paying attention to how my body responded. And that's when I realized something had shifted. It was easier to maintain my weight loss. My body wasn't trying to aggressively regain it like it had used to. I was starting to get full at normal times, not constantly searching for the next meal. So my insulin resistance had significantly improved. My metabolic health was restored. And that food chatter that I talked about earlier, it improved. It wasn't gone, it was still there, but it improved. It required less mental effort, but still required some effort. So it still wasn't easy, but it was easier. Nowhere near the constant exhausting noise that it used to be. I could finally think about other things and I could focus on my work and my relationship and my life instead of spending all my mental bandwidth on food. This was me in my 20s. I maintained a healthy weight. I always wanted to be jacked. I always wanted to be super fit. I could get there for periods, but I couldn't maintain a higher level of fitness. But I felt stable from the long therapeutic fasting. If you're stuck in this vicious cycle right now, the yo-yoing, the food obsession, feeling like your body is working against you, if you want me to make a video specifically about what we do for our patients who are in this exact situation, let me know in the comments if that would be helpful to you. Because what I'm about to share with you next is where everything changed for me. And it's how we help patients skip the struggle that I went through for damn near 10 years. Here comes GLP-1 medications to the rescue, semaglutide, tirzepatide, Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, all these medications that have been changing the game for weight loss. And here's the thing, I wasn't desperate at that time. I was maintaining a healthy weight. I had significantly improved my insulin resistance as we discussed. I was in the best shape of my life at this time, late 20s, early 30s. But I was curious. So I started experimenting with the GLP-1 medications, trying different strategies. I heard about Dr. Tina talking about microdosing. So I was playing around with these GLP-1 meds and I noticed something massive for me. I ended up realizing that the GLP-1s made my whole game change. They reduced my inflammation more. They improved my insulin resistance more. So I started going back into fat loss mode. I went back into doing some more therapeutic fasting windows. And all of a sudden I was able to get even leaner by using low dose strategies of the GLP-1 medication. I believe that my metabolic health was already in a decent state. GLP-1s took it from good to optimal and primed. My body fat levels dropped. I maintained muscle mass. I kept lifting weights. I kept eating reasonably good most of the time, but the key difference was starting GLP-1 medications, low dosing strategies, getting back into some more aggressive fasting to drop more body fat. And now I maintain about 15% body fat year round. And all I need to do besides my daily intermittent fasting and weight training per week is I do 1 monthly long fast, which is made easier by 1 injection of my GLP-1. In my particular case, I do 5 milligrams of tirzepatide, and it's just easy to stay in shape. It's easy to stay fit because I do the work on the other days to maintain. So for me, and what I see in the goal that we accomplish for patients is the combination of fixing the metabolic health. You gotta do the work. You gotta fix the metabolic health first. You use the tools that we discussed, the strategies that we discussed, and then you can maintain, I think, maintaining a microdose and a long fast on a monthly basis is a good way. Of course, you can experiment with different protocols and always work with a medical provider. If you guys are looking for some help If you're currently struggling on your GLP-1 meds, you've got no guidance, no coaching, no structure, no support whatsoever, you don't even know what the hell you're doing, you feel like you're floundering, or maybe you're about to start the medications and you don't want to flounder. Either way, you can book a free call with my patient advocates. You can either text the numbers on the screen or you can use the link in the description where they're gonna go over your history, what you've been doing, and give you like a game plan of what it would look like to work with me, my coaches, our medical team, whatever it is you need, we're here to help you. You can book that call if you're interested to learn more. Otherwise, check out this video right here. This is the 20 main groceries that I think everybody should have in their kitchen for successful GLP-1 weight loss and weight maintenance. We'll see you guys later.